How's it going? So, we're here coloring some Heartthrob. I'm excited about it. Nothing to really talk about up front. The sketchbook challenge is going great. Like, I've missed one day so far. One day out of, what are we on? 10? Although I didn't do today's yet. So, but I did a pretty good cable that I'm like kind of happy about. So, no backseat coloring. It's one of the rules. Yeah, we're literally backseat coloring today. But yeah, I feel like I'm starting to, I don't know, like starting to shake the rust loose. It's weird. We'll jump into some Photoshop. So here's our cover that Robert drew, and these are the flats that got turned around for it. Yeah, man, it's weird, like what I'm noticing starting to draw again. Like the drawing is like, I feel like it's 100% patience, and I have no patience. I like coloring is I feel like built for me because I can get something done in like an hour and a half. You know what I mean? Like, we start and we have something on the page. Hey, Panda. We start and we have something on the page. Like, it's ready to go. It's built in. So, like, already we've accomplished so much. We've already accomplished, before we even start, everything Robert Wilson IV has. That's how it works, right? Right? Yeah, that's how it works. So yeah, like sitting there with a blank page is just it's wildly different. And a lot of times I'm like, oh, I know what I want this to look like, but I don't have necessarily the patience to get there, I feel like. Yeah, it's a weird thing. But anyway, let's, instead of talking about not making a good plan in drawing, let's make a good plan for this. So Robert did this kind of like Virgin Mary kind of thing. So let's see, how are we gonna like figure that out? Should we look at some Virgin Mary stuff? If you Google Virgin Mary, will is that gonna get bad? Are we in dangerous image search territory? So like this is what I think of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Yeah. It's very Virgin Mary, yeah. So we're kind of doing like a money version of Virgin Mary. So like, man, I dig this. Like, we should lift that in some capacity. When I saw what he had done, I was like, we gotta, I don't know, gold plate it somehow. Blades of Grass, no man, cash money, fat stacks. You're not explaining to my fiance why I got banned. Look, if Googling a holy figure is somebody's, I don't think that's going to be somebody's fetish, right? The Christianity, a holy mother, that's probably not. So, okay, the thing that I'm noticing from a lot of this stuff is we have like a lot of like primary colors going on. It's a lot of like red, blue, yellow, you know, that kind of thing. And then like a little bit of green, or like some kind of like misty kind of stuff. It's all very like soft focus. You love the gold? Yeah. Maybe we should do, maybe we should do like a gold leaf. Oh, these are all great. We need to do this. We're gonna fuck what Oni's doing. We're gonna hollow foil this thing ourselves. So yeah, let's figure it out. So should we hollow foil the outside or the inside? This is like a prison jumpsuit kind of thing. So those are usually orange, but we'll err on the side of like reddish because we want to keep it like wholly figured. By the way, that Robert Wilson IV is in the chat making everything awkward. Please don't backseat color us, Robert. Please. Let the professionals handle this, all right? Robert's messing with color. By the way, Robert is also, we're going to have a conversation with him about Heartthrob and coloring or not coloring, but just comics, and we might talk coloring. I don't know. Robert's getting into that stuff, I think. Here to make it weird. Yeah. Thanks, bud. But we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff later this week, like Friday. I'm going to have him on. And Schoonover also said he wants to be on, but we have to find a good time for him. We were coloring his Batman. So like we can go, like kind of like make the so I'm kind of playing around, just trying to figure out like how we're gonna pop the form and how we're gonna make this like legible, basically, from a distance. Like you want to be here and then have like this stuff on the bottom, like the cuffs and the money, kind of like be a secondary like aha moment. So let's figure that out. Make it a Bitcoin. Topical, but no. Not for the 70s. So yeah. Like I kind of want to work, this is like super obnoxious to stream, but I kind of want to like work at this size for right now, so that I can know that, you know, we're making a good cover. So bear with me for a moment. Because like when you're in a comic shop and you see a cover, it's usually like, hey Griff, hey Dave Jordan. When you see a cover in like a comic shop, it's usually like on a wall with a bunch of other covers across the store. You're gonna see it at this size, so it needs to pop in like a way that makes you want to check it out. So like we've kind of, maybe the blue is where we want to be. The blue and the gold leaf. I mean, then we're using all the primary colors like on most of the other stuff we were looking at. Sorry, I'm sucking down water because like the lights for the green screen are out of control. The nanofiber Google technology green screen that is requiring about 14 interns to run behind me is it puts out a lot of heat, is what I'm saying. How's your 6th favorite colors doing tonight? Pretty good. Climbing that ladder. That's what we're doing. That shouldn't catch on. I shouldn't have said that. It's my favorite joke, but we shouldn't make that a thing. Oh my life. So we could just jump into the coloring here. We should jump into shadows. I think. I don't know. I'm still trying to like process this. Maybe we should kind of figure out what the background's doing first. You'll always be my third. I'll always be your third favorite. Thank you. See, we're moving up that ladder. I don't gotta be first. I just want to be in the top 5. That's all that that's the goal. We get in the top 5. And then whoa, that's the wrong thing. And then we're coming for you, Wilson. You think I'm joking? We gotta have Matt on one of these days too. We've been friends for a long time. I'm definitely a colorist that you know. Yeah, there you go. I'll settle for a colorist that you know and you've never mentally ranked colorists at all ever. Like, that's fine too. Let's figure out what we're doing. Like a greenish? See, okay, so I really like the greenish, but it's going to drown out all the cash. And I don't know if that's where we want to be. I mean, maybe it won't if we punch out the like action. Oh my god, my dog's going crazy. We got a package at the door. Maybe if we knock this stuff, the line art back and make it kind of like sun rays, it won't conflict with the money. Maybe we got to darken up the money. Maybe we got to darken up the money. Let's try that. It's also supposed to be like Canadian dollars, which I don't know what color they are, but like in my mind, I can't like readily identify Canadian money. It'll just look like pink slips of paper. It'll look like she's got stacks of like, I don't know. And this is something that like I was like struggling with the whole last arc was they were in Canada. Somebody fired that intern. Yeah. He's on stream. He needs to be silent, covered in black, moving behind the scenes. That's what that intern needs to be. Yeah, Canadian, just draw a picture of a hockey guy on each bill. Stacks of pink slips, stacks of like post-it notes, it looks like to me. So like the whole time we were in Canada in this last in the last volume, I was like, do I make it look 1970s Canadian? So I was like, do I make it look oh yeah, it's kind of green. That works. That works. This works. You know, do I make it Canadian whatever, or do I make it like American because like I'm an American and this is how I identify the money? I don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer to that. Let's do the fun stuff. Before we start messing with the background, let's do all the foreground elements. Let's just put down shadows. Let's go general to specific like we always do. By the way, going general to specific in drawings, also a struggle for me. Good lord. Lick even. Yeah. I'm not gonna repeat that on stream. We're gonna keep the YouTube version of this PG-13. We're not gonna repeat the licking comments. So, shouldn't it be a bunch of coins, loonies and toonies? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think she goes back to America in the third arc. anyway. Callie does. I'm not exactly sure. They sent me the uh Christopher Sabella sent me the breakdowns for the issues, so that I kind of know what I'm getting into. But this, I kind of wanted to make this cover, not that it needs to be like separate, but I kind of wanted to make it like iconic Virgin Mary kind of thing. So I was kind of like, we can just jump into this without knowing what we're jumping into. But I think she goes back to America in the third arc. So maybe this is American money after all. I've just been in like the Canadian mindset for so long with like, you know, different colored taxis and police cars and things like that. It's like a freaking, I don't know. It's something. I ordered, by the way, I ordered I'm correct. Robert's backing me up. I ordered a drop mix board. If you guys haven't heard about that, it's like this card game. It's made by the people who made Guitar Hero, and it's like about making beats, kind of. You play it with your phone. I'm gonna try to get it to work on stream. We'll see. I gotta like actually receive it and see if I can get my like. There's a lot of like tech hurdles to jump through for that. It's gonna be like, you know, I got to get the phone to like pick up the audio. Like the audio from the phone needs to be on the computer so that I can then stream it, as well as like the actual display. So we'll see how it goes. I got like a display thing working for it, but like the app that I have was like, hey, you want to display your phone on the computer? That's going to be a monthly subscription of $5. And I was like, that's insane to me. It's just an app. Like, just sell it to me for $5 and then we're done. I had to turn on the fan because it is hot in here. You're going to catch the rest on the YouTube? All right, Matt. It's getting late in the UK. Man, I wonder if we should stream earlier to cater to different places of the world. I don't know if that's possible. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know if it's necessarily what I want to be doing. I don't know. But yeah, there's all these little things that I like took for granted as a colorist that I'm now thinking about with like, for example, like we're rendering a shirt right now, and I've literally spent 15 years not thinking about where the folds in the shirt were, and now that I'm drawing, I'm like, oh, they're all in the sleeve. And like when I started, I was like putting them like all over the place. It was a little bit of a mess. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, oh, I should streamline this stuff. By the way, if you guys aren't following, I know like we talked about how I'm like a freaking Twitter advocate. How long before I decide these lights are too hot? Can people just look at my dumb bookshelf? We're rapidly approaching that situation. I've thought about just being like, we're gonna stream this cover and I'm gonna be lazy and not do the layout, but like, man, I also like, I want to put out a good product, and you know, I want to be entertaining with this. Mostly here to get angry about how good Robert's inking is. Yeah, and learn nothing about coloring. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the inking, so I don't know if you're here to learn about coloring. I don't know if this is the stream. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about like inking and drawing and coloring. I've like mentally like tuned myself to be patient in basically like hour-long bursts. Like, I can be patient with a document in Photoshop for about an hour, and then I need to like stretch my legs and kind of like look around. I don't know if it's necessarily that same way for drawing, but I'm finding that like an hour's worth of drawing versus an hour's worth of Photoshop is not the same thing. Like, you don't get enough done, basically. And I need to like, I don't know. It's like, man, so much of art I feel like is a wrestle with your like own headspace, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna make something and it's gonna be bad until it's good, which I talk about on the stream. Like, when we color, sometimes it's like, well, it's gonna be bad until it's good, you know, and that's just the way it is. But like, what with drawing versus coloring, you're in the bad space for so much longer. Oh, Panda's hosting. Thank you. Yeah, you're in this like rough space for so much longer than you are when you do Photoshop. Or maybe I've gotten decent at Photoshop now. Like, I've clocked in so many hours with coloring that like mentally I don't exist in that bad space anymore. Like, I'm out of it very quickly. Perhaps that's it too, and that I just need to put in hours into drawing. You know, we'll see. We'll see. We're figuring all this stuff out in 2018. We're getting out of the comfort zone. You can be drawing, look up, and you've stood up in 4 hours. Yeah. Yeah, I think that like I need to build my patience up. I don't know if that's like man, I was thinking about like, will meditation help for thank you, Panda. He says the sketchbooks are going really well. Panda's in there as well. He's doing sketchbook stuff and his stuff's great too. But yeah, I feel like maybe meditation, being like okay with sitting still, might be like something that could potentially be positive for you know, doing this. I don't know if you guys could tell, I'm very fidgety. This stream is basically me just like fidgeting around and talking. So yeah, I feel like the things that, yes, meditation helps. Yeah, I feel like the things that make me a good streamer are not necessarily are like the direct opposite of the things that would make me a good artist. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We're trying to master that patience in 2018. Trying to master patience. I found that when I was hanging out with my brother's kids too, that like, you know, kids, there was like 2 of them, and they were very interested in like all the games that I brought, and they were all like packed away in a specific way to like minimize space to bring them on the plane, and they were like going through the packages just like, you know, tearing through. They want to see all the cards, all the art, all the everything, you know, as they're kids, you know. And I could tell, like, after spending like a few hours with them, like, I hit this point. I saw this. My fiance heard it in my voice and looked at me and was like, because like I started hitting the point where like the patience was starting to wear. Like, you hit that wall, and then you're like, but then it was like, you know, I lose a card and I buy another $20 game. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not worth like yelling at them about. But like in the moment, you're like, you know, needled, and then you're like, I can't do this. So, and I feel like maybe art is the same way, where you have like a finite, I don't know, it's like you're able to make X number of decisions during the day, and you want to make the best decisions you can. And at a certain point, you're going to start making bad decisions. Yeah. And so, like, I think that you know, if you want to make good decisions with art, you kind of have to, when you're starting, especially when you're starting, it's like every decision is a bad decision, and you have that voice like needling in your head, and you're like, God, like, I just need this thing to shut up. And then, like, eventually you just get frustrated. Like, and it's okay to be frustrated. Like, you know, learning and growing, especially with like new skills and stuff, it's tough, and it's work, and you got to be patient with yourself, and like you're gonna get frustrated. That's gonna happen. I did like a wild dog thing last night that was like real quick, and I didn't have the time that I like necessarily wanted to dedicate to it, and I like wasn't in the right headspace. But like part of doing the sketchbook challenge is about me learning like what headspace do I have to be to draw in, like what, you know, like I don't even know that anymore, you know. I'm trying to like relearn that. So even though it was like a failure, I'm still like, you know, learning a lesson out of it. Oh, did I goof I goofed the bottom. I typoed it. Did I typo it? Let me check. Yeah, I did. Let me fix that. My issue with Chris's name is that I have a friend that is literally named the same thing without that one extra letter. It's uncanny. So I sometimes when I write it, I don't write it correctly. Thank you, Dave Jordan, for pointing that out. Because I don't want to get it wrong, but sometimes I don't know. You definitely have work days where it's like the spirit is willing, but the brain and the hand are just, yeah, like, and it's interesting too. Like I've noticed since I've started, and I'm sure that, you know, this happens when people are learning how to color. Cause I remember these are like all the same things that I felt when I was like learning how to color, was like, you know, you're making stupid mistakes, even though you're willing to like put the time, like you're willing to put the time in. And then when you're putting the time in, you're like, you're making like mistake after mistake, and it's adding up to something bad. And then it like, that gains momentum. And then you're like, oh no, like it's all off the rails. Like I blocked out this time to do this thing, and it's like, we don't have anything that's workable or good, or like, I don't know, like, you know, that can 100% happen. I actually, so we did a thing on stream, the last week with, and we're going to try to stream more than once a week. It's been crazy. I'll talk about it in a second. But, yeah, I did the Schoonover piece, and after like being like satisfied and done with it, I went back an hour later and I was like, I should have fixed like 3 things, you know? And then he was even like, hey, can we see a version like this? And I don't mind doing extra versions. I should have done extra versions because like normally I do, but I don't know. With the stream too, it's interesting because it's like, I want things to be like finalized and done so that everyone can catch every moment, but it's kind of not the way that like art works, especially with like collaboration, and I don't know. It's a different kind of beast. At any rate, let's put some shadows down. So I kind of just cut out all the light sources that I want. We're gonna put the shadow down. I'm just using a gray. I'm filling it, multiplying like 70%. This is not the final colors that we're gonna use. So let's figure out what the final colors that we're gonna use are. It'd be cool to get this same green kind of echoed into the shirt. That'd be kind of neat. Less colors are usually better on a piece like this. The thing is, when you have a cover with like a limited amount of elements on the cover, even if you're doing like something full color, you kind of want to live in the headspace of like less is more, you know? If I put down like a crazy colored like tie-dyed background and a crazy colored tie-dyed shirt, and like it's going to detract from like everything that's going on. And like really, like we want the arms to kind of create this like triangle with the portrait here. That's the goal. That's the goal that we're going to have. So the arms want to push you up. So in order to do that, we're going to throw a grad through them. Kind of like push you up. Let's do a grayish grad. It's a little extreme, but we can work from there. And we're going to do the same thing with the jumpsuit. Kind of like push you up. And we'll do the same thing with the skin tones. But let's tweak the skin tone just a little bit. I know we tweaked it a little bit already. But yeah, with limited elements on the page, you kind of want to be like, and this is something I learned when I was like working on Atomic Robo. I used to be, when I was coloring for Robo, God, what was that, like 6 or 7 years ago now? I was all over the place. I was like, let's use everything, all parts of the buffalo in, you know, 40 different shades of green on the page. And then Scott was like, it wasn't, it was funny because he has a very, like, if you've ever met Scott Wegner, the artist on Atomic Robo, he has a very, like, he likes what he likes, you know, like he's very almost to the point where like he can't enjoy media anymore. It's funny. I don't know. I think it's funny, but you know, he's just he knows what works, and he's been doing what he's been doing for a long time, and he's been like, you know, experimenting in a lot of different ways. And at any rate, he was like, why are you putting that green down? Like, why are you putting a green down that's like 10% more yellow when you have this green over here that's like the same green? Just use it in both places. Like, why not, like, you know, make it gel together? And I was like, why have I been coloring for this long and not thinking about that? That was one of the moments of revelation that I've had in like the last 5 years. Longer than that, but yeah. That was one, and then like I remember that being like a turning point for me. And also Matt Wilson, since we were talking about him before, we were sitting at a con once. This was like 8 years ago. This is a long time ago. A couple of revelations right in a row, I guess. I don't know. And he was like, we were talking about process and stuff, and he was like, yeah, you put the shadows down and then you change all the colors of the shadows. And I was like, yeah, that's what I do. And then I was like, oh God, should I have been doing that? Like, I just been using this like muddy gray before that. And I was like, I totally should have been doing, I was like, I don't know. But that was also back when I was kind of emotionally struggling with just sitting here and doing good work at the time. So like adding extra steps was just like not where I wanted to be. I spent a year with a post-it note on the monitor, like on the Wacom, that was like, if you're sitting here, do the work. And I was like, oh, I should you know, listen to the Post-it note that I wrote for myself when I had a clearer head, rather than being like, well, this page is good enough. We're done. And my work started getting better, and I started getting better jobs. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, Matt and Scott. Too many names kicking around in my head right now. Using kind of a toothy brush. Now I know that Robert likes things a little soft, on the soft side, so this highlight's looking real hard right now, but we're gonna slowly fix that. And I'm using like a toothy kind of brush because like it's a stack of bills, so hopefully like the grit of the brush will kind of denote some grit in the texture of the money. Although, man, it's not really like green like this. Here's part of the thing with money that I've noticed that I have a problem with. Like, I want to color it like this green makes sense to me as far as money goes. Like when I think about money, I think about this color. But in reality, like bills don't look like this. But when I make them like the dull green, especially when the bill doesn't have any art on them, which is fine. It's not a knock on Robert. Like, you know, tons of artists do this where like the bill is kind of blank and it's like, oh, it's money, but like I'm not going to draw freaking Abraham Lincoln on every single bill flying through the air. Like, it makes sense. I get it. But like it's tough to make the bill not be this color, because when I lighten it, it doesn't look like money to me anymore. So you're almost kind of like fighting the visual representation of like, it's like when you cartoon, you know, you're like, oh, this is a simplistic version of this thing. Like, this is not photoreal. To a degree, this is cartooned. And you want a president on every bill. Yeah. Front and back. I don't care if the president is on the front and back. We're doing front and back every time. But yeah, so it's like, it's a weird thing, because it's like, well, I'm like, the color is cartooning the money kind of thing. It's a weird thing. It's like, I think it's like a mind hack more than anything else. Unless I start to like doodle the bills, which we might end up doing. I don't know. My go-to like bill doodle is like, this is even like too saturated. Yeah, there we go. Something like this. That's my bill doodle. Which we could kind of do, I guess. It does make it look a little better. Maybe we should put the effort in. Maybe if we're sitting in the chair, we should put the effort in. God damn it. Past Nick Filardi is such a taskmaster. I've convinced myself. There's no going back now. God damn it, Ziggy. One comment. You're learning how to overcome your fear of using layers. We're not using layers. Look at that. Look at that bad boy right there in the corner. Right over there. Right over there. Straight across. No layers. Past Nick knew what was going on. Past Nick knows a lot of things that present Nick does not want to adhere to. We're kind of, you know what? Let's simplify this. Instead of me thinking about like outside insides of the bill, you know, also how to do values. Values are critical. Nice heck layers. Yeah, heck 'em. Here's the thing. We'll be doing a layer because we're gonna be doing some gold leaf stuff, but that layer isn't gonna show up until the very end. And we'd super black the thing in a layer because we want to make sure that it's workable in case there's corrections. Like, oh, the money's actually Canadian, or oh, the money's actually, I don't know, Mongolian or something, you know, something that I did not account for. That is De Niro's dinner time. That is the intern dinner bell. He is being summoned. You've made an egregious error? Egregious? Oh no. That sounds bad. Yeah, so I'm trying to look at these days. I'm trying to look at, like, especially with the sketchbook challenge, it's less about, and I've talked about this before a little bit, the sketchbook challenge is less about, like, doing good work as it is about, like, making the mistakes and learning from them. Like, being out of the comfort, even just, like, the simple act of, like, making something has been transformative for me. You know, like, I haven't been drawing in a long, long time, and you know, doing that on a regular basis, I'm, like, learning stuff about, like, you know, like I was saying, the intern is being fed. Just one of them, though. We give them one meal to share. Just one. Yeah, trying to look at everything as, like, an opportunity to, like, figure out, like, oh, what kind of headspace should I be in when I'm drawing? Oh, like, I've been thinking about shirts the wrong way. Oh, you know, like, so it's basically like, let's sit at the table and start to make these discoveries about, like, how we work. Because everybody works a little different. You know, you might have infinite patience. I am fidgety and maybe a little ADD. I don't know. I never got diagnosed, but whatever. maybe a little bit. A little bit. Only the strong survive. Or they share, you know? Maybe it's a big meal. You don't know. All right. Now that we've kind of, like, texturized the money, you know what? Can we, from the menu, because I'm covering my keyboard, view, hide selection? Where is the hide? There it is. Is that it? That is not it. I have to do it on the keyboard. There we go. I know it's Apple H. I don't know where it is in the menu. All right. Let's add in the little money values, the little dots. So this is what I do for the this is the money doodle. Little dot, little edges, little dot, little edges, little dot, edges. This one's turned, so I don't know, we don't really have to worry about those. But, like, this one needs a good one. How's that dot? Looking good. Oh, you primed up? Does that get you anything? Yeah, it does, dude. You can actually subscribe to me for free using Amazon Prime. So, like, you get, as a Prime subscriber, built into Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to any stream you want for a month, and it won't renew. Like, you gotta renew it if you want to renew it. But yeah, you get one subscription for free. So, you know, you could subscribe to this stream right now. Right now. And then you can use such great emotes as "Don't look at me." Nick Look is what it's called, which is weird because I don't want to look. I don't want to look at me. You're going to subscribe? Yeah. If you link it together, you just got to, when you go to subscribe, it's like, it'll ask you subscribe with Amazon Prime, and you can just do it. I've been subscribing with Amazon Prime to the Boyks for probably like, oh, there you go. Fake McCoy just subscribed. Welcome to high society. Yeah, I've been subscribing. Take it easy, Panda. To the Boyks now with Amazon Prime every month for like I don't even know how long, like years, over a year, since Amazon Prime linked in. Yeah, there's the don't look at me. Yeah, man, now you got a crown and a star. It's all happening. Man, if you're, by the way, Amazon Prime, like, not to belabor it, but like, if you're watching this on YouTube and you have Amazon and you're like, you're not subscribed to anything, you don't do the Twitch thing, and you like the stream and you want to support the stream, that is like a direct way. All you got to do is make a Twitch account, link it to Amazon, subscribe to me. It's a direct way to support the stream, and it costs you nothing. It is built in with your Amazon Prime subscription. So, you know, just putting it out there. Putting it out there. I'll still stream either way. You are special. Ziggy, you've always been special. By the way, Fake McCoy in the chat, Ziggy, was he was emailing me about getting set up for streams. So he might be streaming soon too. If you guys are interested in following other artists. We went to college together. Sent him my setup, what I use. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Oh my god, these money doodles are taking forever, but they do look better than just blank slips of paper, so I guess we're going to continue to do them. Past Nick Filardi was right. I should have put the time in. We should just put the time in. It looks like they're done. Looks like. The Prime sub does not auto renew, Hulk Hogan. You gotta like you gotta manually do it every month, but it will keep track for you. Like if you like if you're in here regularly, there you go. Don't look at me. If you're in here regularly, then you'll see like, oh, I don't have the badge anymore. I'll just like subscribe again. Putting in some highlights, some very subtle highlights on the money. Man, past Nick Filardi was 100% right. What a dingus. Hate it when that guy's right. Alright, the money's taken care of. We should save it. Alright, because we don't want to do that again, basically. Twitch is working on getting a Prime auto renew. There's no ETA. Yeah. Kate, who just said that in the chat, whose username I cannot pronounce, also streams from time to time. Streams some art. So let's work on these sleeves. So we're adding a little tooth to the sleeves. Just kind of like blending the shadows because I know that Robert wants to keep it like kind of soft looking. And like soft is going to work to our advantage on this cover. And when I started working on Heartthrob, everything was kind of like hard cuts, hard cuts, hard cuts. And if you've been paying attention, I've since tried to soften, and I think actually volume 3 will be the softest boy, my soft baby boy. So we'll see what happens. And it's been just like little painting stuff like this, where it's just like, oh well, 50% blend the thing until it looks like it's soft. There's no like trick to this stuff. It's just like, you know, put in the time, figure it out. Just straight up painting. This is why, by the way, I kind of want to do a stream where I'm trying to learn how to digital paint, because I think it's going to be hilarious, because I'm not going to be good at it. Oh my god. Oh my god, the chat is all Kate now. So yeah, I think it'll be hilarious because I don't think I'm going to be good at it, especially when I start. But also, I think it's like a natural extension of like what I'm doing already. So I don't know. I just want to like give it a shot. I was thinking about picking a buddy of mine who's a little more cartoony to try it out, so that we're like rendering more basic shapes than we are like, you know, metal textures and like, you know, dents and shit like that. Like people can get really complicated with art. Part of me drawing too is realizing that like I don't necessarily gravitate to that stuff. Like it looks cool when it's executed well, but I don't know if that's for me. Yeah, Chad. I was thinking about, yeah, Fake McCoy knows who I'm talking about because we all went to college together. But yeah, I was thinking about coloring some of Chad Thomas's stuff. I haven't actually run it by him though, so he might be like, oh no, we can't do that. I don't think he would, but he 100% reserves the right to. A lot of artists, you know. I've known Chad for a long time, but some artists are like, they get kind of uncomfortable with that stuff, only because it's not that it has anything to do with me or the stream or whatever. It's just like, you know, when you like can't control the product that you're putting out anymore, like it starts to turn into a weird thing, and some people get a little weird about that stuff. Just steal his shit. After all that, Fake McCoy in the chat, just steal his shit and go to town. Yeah, I know. Chad and I have been close for a long time, so I think it'll be fine. I gotta find a break in the schedule to do it. This I mentioned it earlier. My past okay, so since before Christmas, I've been working on a Cave Carson double issue that's 36 pages, and then a Rick and Morty double issue that's 30 pages, and it's been a challenge getting it all together, and it's also been like a mental challenge. Man, that's like the theme of the stream right now, is mental challenges. It's been a mental challenge to like do 30 pages at a time rather than 20. Oh yeah, I'm working on some Rick and Morty. I did a little bit before. I couldn't commit to like a full series, but I knew the editor, and the editor liked Ari at Oni liked what I was doing, and we've since like worked on other books before, but yeah, I couldn't like commit to a full series. And when like the first issue of Rick and Morty came out, I was like, I sent Ari an email and I was like, look, I can't do like a run, but if you ever do like a one shot or whatever, I'm in. And so I got to do a one shot with Andrew McLean for the Rick and Morty team, the Ball Fondlers, the like weird A-team thing that it is. And it was so much fun. And then she was like, you want to start doing these like annuals. And the first one that we're doing is the Vindicators. So yeah. Oh, thank you for the host, Erica. I enjoyed Erica's stream, by the way. You're uncomfortable coloring. Oh my god, what is happening? So anyway, yeah, what's the difference between 50 opacity and 50 flow? Okay, so flow controls like opacity controls like how transparent it is, obviously. And then flow controls like how it flows out of the pen kind of thing. It's like if you want it like flow 100% will have it 100% coming out of the pen at all times. Flow 50% will have it like it's not making as many marks at a time, basically. I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah, you saw that stream, Crazy Genital Space Aliens, where they had the giant cod pieces from Cave Carson. Yeah. Okay, I'm on board now. Yeah. We're gonna do some more. Yeah, man, I have like some young animal plans in store for you guys. I want to get Oming on the stream if possible. I know he's a busy dude, but yeah. So at any rate, by the way, y'all should follow Erica as well. Well, the flow is how much paint you're putting on the brush. Yeah, that makes sense. It's such a weird analogy to make. I don't know. It's a weird thing in Photoshop for sure. Erica was building some Gundams, and it made me want to build Gundams. I know Robert wants to also build Gundams. It's tough to not want to build Gundams when you see the kits at conventions. It's one of the things I have to like mentally fortify myself before I walk by a booth with like a bunch of models on it. Because I'm like, I don't have the time for this. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I really want to do this. I should just get a model. Like that's the wrestle that's going on in my head. Yeah, it looks like you turned spacing up. Yeah, but like spacing's different too. I don't know. Yeah, you're doing that with Brendan for fun. Yeah, it was a good stream. Talking about New Year's, building some Gundams. It was like nice and chill. Anyway, I kicked around the idea of like I should do like a Gundam. We should get like Robert and I should each get a basic kit. Or like I was talking to the Boyks at the time. I was like, Boyks, you should get a basic Gundam kit, and we should get the same kit. Yeah, it was Ted Lude. We should get the same kit and race the build. We both start at the same time, and we both try to build the entire Gundam. And we could rate the build based on sturdiness and also speed. But I don't know, he wasn't too into that. I don't know if he trusts his manual dexterity. Maybe Robert will join me for that. You wish you were skilled enough? Yeah. It looks like he's been doing it for a while. Anyway, we're kind of off track. We're off the rails. This whole stream off the rails. So anyway, yeah, I'm working on Rick and Morty, working on a Cave Carson thing, and it's like I'm totally stoked to do this stuff, and I'm stoked for you guys to have it. But it's been taking a long time, like because it's 66 pages instead of 40 pages. And so it's like mentally hard to do, even though I'm still doing the same amount of pages per day. And like it's coming out great, but it's just like, you know, it's just tough to like emotionally rally to do longer stuff, especially back to back like that. Usually the way I work is I do a book, I take a day off, and then I'm you know, I do another book and I take a day off and I do another book, because I can do a book in about a week. And I haven't had a day off in a while. And then like, so that was happening. And then once those 66 pages got done, I had 9 covers on my plate. So I'm having like the weirdest week in my career. This cover being one of them. I think we might do the Realm cover on stream tomorrow. That's going to be another one. Maybe we'll do that on stream. I don't know. Maybe we'll check in with the team, see if it's a good idea. But yeah, it's been a little wild. And the thing is too is like, you up 2 more today? Don't tell me that, Robert. You're going to give me a complex. I actually went to bed last night feeling like if Robert gets behind a little bit, then I'm emotionally okay. I can take a breather and take my time. But if you're not behind, then things are going to get rough in this house. Also, doing corrects on 66 pages, a little bit longer than doing 40 pages worth of corrects. FYI. It's going to take some time. Yeah, just blow off the last one. We're all good. No, I don't advocate for that. You do you. I'll catch up. I'm good. I'm going to do the 2 that you gave me already today. This is one of them. So you know, I'll keep it going. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, it's been a weird time. I got 2 WWE covers from Schoonover. I got a whopping eventual 5 from Robert, 1 Realm cover, and another Rick and Morty cover for like an unannounced thing that I'm actually super psyched about. Oh, and another cover. So I guess it's 10 covers. And the thing is too is like, you know, I want to do with covers, I like to spend extra time on them because it's the first thing the reader sees, you know, and like you want to take extra care, and it's a little bit of a different game. Like what I was talking about where I was like zooming out the cover. The reason that I'm trying to work like this size is because you see a cover across the room, and if I start to like get into like this, then I'm not in the right headspace. You know, like I want to make it as bold as possible. And so like I usually spend on a page like about 2 hours, but I usually spend about 4 on a cover. So 10 covers is 40 hours unless I start to like, I don't know, see where I can cut some corners. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. The wrestling ones actually don't take that long, so they don't take 4 hours because they pretty much color themselves. There's not a lot of I just got to make the characters look like the characters, you know. Brent is actually doing most of the heavy lifting. God bless him. Anyway, so we might do a Realm cover on stream after this. Not immediately after, but like tomorrow. Yeah, covers are a weird beast. You got to work at every size. Like it needs to work when you're holding it in your hand like a comic book, and it needs to work across the store. I also like to take extra time with the covers. Like, I talk about how I do this with issues if I'm able to, but with covers, I always try to, you know, finish the cover, give it a beat, like come back a day later or whatever, and then like be like, okay, is this ready? With fresh eyes, like, let's see all the mistakes. Hey, Cedric. Man, so yeah, it's been kind of a crazy week. I've been ripping my hair out. I haven't had a day off since before Christmas. Like, I took a couple days off for Christmas, and then before that it was like maybe a week before that. So it's been a minute. Been like, you know, I talk about how comics are a marathon. You definitely want to take care of yourself, and part of self-care is like knowing when you're like beat, you know, knowing when you need to walk away from things and like taking that time. But sometimes, you know, it's just, it like doesn't happen. I've been kind of in that headspace, and the work still gets done, but like everything else becomes difficult. Like things that are normally easy for me, like taking the dog out and like stuff like that, start to become frustrating, which is, you know, not where I want to be emotionally. So we're using a kind of like splotchy watercolor brush here for the cheeks. We're just kind of like tapping. We're just trying to add like a little bit of, I don't know, like skin is kind of like this weird quality to it. And we're trying to mimic that, trying to make it soft and splotchy and whatever. But this is kind of just the base. So we put like a little bit of blue in. That's like a trick to kind of make it look like it's you know, alive. But yeah, we're trying to. I'm sorry. I'm in like extreme concentration mode now, because rendering faces is not exactly easy, and it kind of makes or breaks this cover in particular. When you find the right reference. Man, one of the things that was also going on yesterday, by the way, speaking of hurdles that are unforeseen, my computer was like decided to be a piece of shit. I mean, it is like 10 years old, but I'm due for an upgrade. Emote didn't show. Oh. So like I'm adding all this texture and stuff to these Cave Carson pages, and it's like the texture like pastes in, and it's like pinwheels for like 5 minutes, and then I move the texture and it pinwheels for 5 minutes, and it was just like, oh my god, I don't have time for any of this, because the document was so large. And it's, you know, it's not anybody's fault. It's just like, fuck, man, I need a new computer. Computers, it turns out, I don't know if you guys know this. here's a pro tip. Computers got better in the last 10 years. Turns out computers now better than 10 years ago. Crazy. Oh, we are adjusting the flow. That is not what I want to be doing. I also had some exciting stuff going on. Kyle Webster was emailing me about gradients in Photoshop and what I would like to see in future versions of Photoshop, and he was really responsive to what I had going on, what I was talking about. So I'm very excited about that eventually happening. If it happens, I mean, like, I don't know what Photoshop's capable of. I don't know what the back end looks like as far as, like, you know, the code and everything, but, like, you know, he also asked me if I wanted to be a beta tester. So yes. So we might have some stuff going on with Photoshop. The back end of Photoshop is crazy flexible. Huh. I did not know that. Warming up the cheeks a little bit. Maybe we should put like a greenish. No, that doesn't really work. Maybe more of like a darker. Maybe that works. That kind of works. We'll see. We'll see when it's done. What I think with fresh eyes. There's a reason it has a legacy of crashing. Hey, it's not Moto. It's not Magic the Gathering Online. So, could be worse, is all I'm saying. I'm running it on a 10-year-old computer, and I'm running it live with OBS running, and it's crashed on me one time. So, you know, I don't think it's that bad. I don't know if the eyeliner's really working for me. The eyeliner kind of looks weird. Photoshop has better online functionality than Moto? Yeah, probably. Well, it has to do less online, so it probably has that going for it. Whoa, that was out of control. Yeah, usually I come at you guys with, like, here's a lesson plan. Like, here's what I want to talk about today. Here's what I've been thinking about. But, like, mostly what I've been thinking about is, like, getting a good product out the door. Hey, Nimish. With the new service pack, it lets you type emojis on your PC with Windows Plus, and you're very happy. Nice. This is going to be, when I finally do upgrade, it's going to be my first non-Mac computer for work since 1998. No, 2002. So it's been a minute. We're going to add some, like, glows and stuff to her face to kind of, like, soften her up a little bit. That isn't going to happen right this second, though. But I do want to do that because a lot of the Virgin Mary stuff had, like, weird little glows and stuff like that. Let's try the tedium of knocking out all this line art, colorizing all this line art. So this is gonna look good. A lot of times when I do this, and I'm not sure how it's going to look because I know that making the selection is going to take a while. I'll do like kind of this and then be like, all right, what will the selection kind of look like? Like kind of like play with it to make sure that it's the right move. Like that looks good. We're probably going to do something like that. Oh, that's great, Nimish. You're reading The Realm. That's awesome. I think the first arc is done now. I think 5 is out. We actually we were putting together the trade, and I was suggesting to the team, I was like, hey, if we have room in the trade for extras, we should do this. And they were like, there is no room. There's no way we have any room for anything else other than the book, because it was something like the story is like 126 pages and I think the trade is 128 pages. So it's like there's I don't know. They're like, you know, we want to do extras, but this isn't the place right now. So but good. I'm glad you're hooked. It's one of the most The Realm is easily, I was having a conversation with Jeremy about it just recently, about how he was like, we did remix covers. You're up to issue 3 now. Oh, cool. I feel like issue 4 is where I started to be like, I know what I'm doing. I know it sounds weird to hear, but like I was trying out so many new things, and The Realm is a very like on a technical level for Photoshop, very, very complicated. So I was doing a lot of new, very complicated stuff. And I was trying out a lot of stuff. I was like experimenting basically on the fly with that book. And Jeremy actually wrote me a note, and he was like, when we did remix covers, he was like, I always like the remix more. Why is that? And I was like, well, honestly, I you know, there's a lot of different factors. Like, you know, I'm looking at the same artwork and doing another pass on it and thinking about it differently. And also, like, you know, issue 1 was like the first image that I did was the cover for issue 1. And now I have all this experience as to like what the book is now. And so I can make like a more accurate to what the actual issues are, cover number 1 and cover number 2. But I was like, but also, and plus I have the experience of like tackling the same art with like the same problems and like approaching it differently. You know, like if I know what the problems are going in, rather than like figuring them out as I'm working, you know, that kind of thing. At any rate, I was also telling him that like, because it's so like technically advanced with like, you know, masks and color layers and stuff. Oh, thank you, Dog Swift, for the host. And like adjustment layers and things like that, and in like a really sophisticated way, like I'm getting better and better at it, and it shows. Like it's if, you know, if I'm like putting away the 2017, I started like growing a lot with Photoshop, and I think that part of that is because right now my enthusiasm for comics is like freaking at 11. It's through the roof. I am so down with comics right now. And you talk to any creator and they'll tell you about how it waxes and wanes. But right now I'm on like the high of comics and what comics could potentially be. And that excitement is leading me into places where I'm curious again with Photoshop and like what it's capable of. I'm not falling back on like the stuff that I necessarily knew worked. I'm like, let's, you know, change it up. Let's try something new. So I don't know. It's The Realm is great for all those reasons. And then it's just a great book too. It's like right up my alley. It's like D&D, kind of thing. Oh yeah, I probably will not be in Portugal. Yeah, we can figure that out. You're in the Discord. We'll talk about it. I don't want to talk about that on stream, but yeah, we'll talk about it. But yeah, so I'm psyched for the trade to come out. Hopefully it's going to collect all the covers and stuff too, because we did like a crap ton of covers. Hey, Ramp. And I know that it was tough for everyone to get all the covers if they wanted them. And we did some cool stuff. We did like a Castlevania cover that was like totally awesome. Yeah. We got some cool stuff coming. Jeremy, I don't know if you guys follow Jeremy on Twitter, but he's been tweeting a bunch of stuff for, like black and white desk shots of more Realm issues too. So, yeah, I'm really excited about what the Realm is like turning into. Man, I am glad that I left this to the end because I can feel that emotional wall. I can feel myself like hitting the wall where I start making bad choices. But this, like knocking out the line art, I don't have to make any choices. We're all good. I'm just like, is this line art? Is this not line art? It's binary. This is stuff actually the intern should probably be doing. Let's see if we gotta get them on it. I wish that if I had like a more traditional studio space, I think that I would hire interns for stuff like this. Page prep and things that kind of thing, and probably flats and things like that. Keep them busy. Because this stuff is kind of tedious. Not that I pawn off all my tedious work. It's just been years of doing tedious work. It would be nice to just be able to create. I don't know. I would need some kind of studio space and a reliable person to come in too. Yeah. I'll keep it in mind, Griff. I was actually thinking about, so I've been coloring 5 pages a day every day for weeks now. I've been thinking about, like, it would be a good thing for me to like hire some flatters, but man, it is so scary hiring new flatters. If you're a new flatter, or if you want to get into flatting, to start to get into coloring, here's the thing. Like, you need to be like on top of your game. Like, if a colorist is like, I need this day, you like need to be on top of your, like, that's the fear that I have, is that I will hire somebody and they'll be like, oh yeah, I do flats, and then like I'll get the flats when I need them. Like, when I have blocked out 5 pages a day every day, I don't have time to, like, if things go wrong, like, I just need things to go right. You know what I mean? It's scary to work with new people. I mean, man, this is what I'm tapping into the fear that probably editors probably all have when they work with new people. So I've been using Yes Flat for a long time, not because the flats are great, but because the price is really good, and I always know what I'm getting, and there's always like a quick turnaround. But I was thinking about, like, actually hiring out of, like, out of not hiring that company anymore. Hey, Ban Geek, thank you for the follow. yeah, I was thinking about, you know, hiring like an actual human being instead of a South Korean studio, because like to be I want the community to be involved. You know, like I started flatting, you know, when I worked for Lee Lowridge coming up, and like I want to give other people the same opportunities. This is also what I'm talking about with like I'm high on comics right now, is that like, you know, I'm thinking about these things, whereas like normally when I'm just like, oh, we'll just try to do the work. Yeah. Never realized you forgot to follow. Yeah. I was like, man, that's a late follow. That's what I was thinking in my head, but I didn't want to say it. Cause you've been hanging out for a while, and we've known each other for a good bit from Boyks' stream. Hey Snyder. Yeah. But yeah, when I talk about like the community, like, and the Discord is part of the community, like the sketchbook challenge, like you guys watching me try to learn how to draw, like that's community. Like I want to see you guys in there. I want to chat about drawing, and I want to like, come up together with you, like comics is not like an isolated thing. So I'm like, oh, I should, put my money where my mouth is, and like not only get into, on the drawing aspect and on the community aspect with, we're going to try brushing this, by the way, because this is taking forever. I should do it with flats too, because that's kind of how I learned. That's how I got my feet wet. That's how I picked up my speed. Although I'm not seeing speed now. Maybe this is a bad choice. Oh God, oh God. Screen. That's not what we want. This is already off the rails. Oh my God, this is off the rails. I don't know. Thank you for the link for the Sketchbook Challenge Discord, Kate. If you guys are interested in that, the Sketchbook Challenge is a sketchbook page a day. If you want to lurk in there, you can too. It's just, trying to get into the habit of drawing again and relearning and stuff. We've been talking about it a lot on the stream, I feel like. Usually we talk color, but, it's all part of the same tapestry. It's also about like, so the Sketchbook Challenge is also about like, I want to not accept limits for myself anymore. And you shouldn't either. Like, for a long time, I thought of myself as just a colorist. And like, I have a lot of insight with like story, and there's a lot of times when like I'm working on something and I'm like, oh, this would have been better if it was slightly different for these reasons. And I'm like, why don't I put my skin in the game instead of like, being on the sidelines? Flatting looks like hard labor and you wouldn't go full time with it. Yeah, man, you gotta like, here's the thing. No one flats forever. Like I did flatting when I started because I was like, I love comics and I want to get into comics, and like, this is the way to get in, like the advantage to flatting, beyond like being like, I'm going to sit at Photoshop and like get better at Photoshop. The advantage other than that is to be like, show up to a con. Like, this is what I did when I started going to cons. I was like, in my 20s, early 20s, and kind of had like a lot of social anxiety, and everybody was older than me and more experienced and blah, 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 blah. So, but the thing that like got people to like take me a little more seriously than just being like a kid off the street is to be like, oh, hey, I do flats for Lee Lowridge. And then it's like, I'm trading on Lee's name a little bit. You hate flats and you will never use this as a backdoor. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's hard work. The reason that I'm like, it gives me pause is because like I need to color 5 pages a day sometimes. And usually that's where I tap out. But Oh man, trying to flat 5 pages a day is rough, depending on the project you're doing. Like, flatting powers is kind of all right, but like, flatting heartthrob's got to be like a little bit of a challenge because, like, you know, Robert will put a lot of detail into a lot of panels and, especially in the backgrounds and things like that. It's tough. We've done some flatting on stream. I'm not terrible at it, but I'm sure I could be faster if I was more practiced. You flatted forever, 10 years, usually color, but you like flatting? It relaxes? Yeah. And not close any lines. Man, artists always talk about that shit, like not closing lines. That's not a thing. Don't worry about that. Like, I don't think I've ever worked on anything with closed lines before. It's not like comics. Comics doesn't look like coloring books. You know, like I have all kinds of like, you know, solutions to get around like lines that are not closed. So don't, yeah, like it's not a thing. Everybody always says that, and I'm in my mind I'm like, I've had many artists apologize to me about not closed lines. Clip paint, yeah, I don't use any of those filters. Those filters are bullshit too. Man, I'm on my high horse, right? Shit. Just shutting down the chat line by line. All right, we're almost at the end. The real trick is never opening your lines. The real trick, I don't know. I was gonna come up with something, but when I started that sentence, but it didn't happen. Can't tell if an unclosed line or if it was never opened. We're going deep now. It's getting philosophical. But yeah, I do think there is like a zen to flatting. I made a flatting tutorial, and we've talked about it on stream a little bit, and I've gone like kind of in depth on it, in a video way. But I feel like maybe it would behoove everyone to see it in like an actual like blog post, like text. I think it's one of those things that like you want to see it one step at a time so that you can follow along rather than being like, he just talked for 10 seconds and now I'm lost. I don't know. I've been thinking about resurrecting the blog. I've been thinking about resurrecting the blog not only for that, but also for, I had a rant a while back of how I feel like $50 a page is minimum wage for colorists and companies shouldn't pay any less than that. I've been wanting to post that, and I've also been wanting to post a, like, so you're getting a table at a Comic-Con for the first time. What should you bring? How should you pack? What kind of luggage should you do? Like, basically the years that I've had of like trial and tribulation with going to conventions and like the stuff that I wish I knew when I started. I was thinking about posting that as well. Please leave your hooves bead. Oh man. All right. So we're getting close. We're getting close to the end. Here's something I don't like. The cuffs. This goes back to what I was talking about with like minimum color. So the cuffs like lean this like blue tone, and everything else is leaning green and red, and what will be gold. So let's lean the cuffs in a different direction. Just like a little bit. We gotta render the hands and stuff a little bit too. But we can put a little bling on the cuffs. You should pack toothpaste and a toothbrush, to be honest. Yes, you're not wrong. Just you're seeing the slightest amount of religious imagery. Yeah. You popped in late, but we were talking about the Virgin Mary in the beginning of the stream, and I was saying that, like, you know, I was Googling it, Google image searching, and I'm like, this is probably fine and safe for Twitch, right? No one's ever gonna fetishize the Virgin Mary. At any rate, sure that's not a thing that's happened on the internet. Yeah. Forgot what I was saying. But yeah, so the advantage of like doing flats for a colorist is like, so I was going to these conventions and I was like, you know, socially awkward 22-year-old or 21-year-old or whatever. Oh no, Robert, no. We want to gain viewers, eyeballs on HEARTTHROB. Not push them away. But yeah. So the advantage of like, if I was gonna flat again, like if I was flatting to start doing comics, I would also be doing that in conjunction with going to Comic Cons, because then you can talk to other professionals, and like when they see your work or whatever, you're not just like some kid. Like, you know, it's like, oh, I flat for Lee Lowridge, and it's like, oh, I love Lee. Like, how's he doing? What's he up to? And then it's like, oh, you have a conversation. You know, it's more personal than you know, just like whatever. It's personal. I cut away just now. Not only for the station ID, way up there. There's the station ID, but also because I'm Googling for gold leaf texture, and I want to dump some cool ones in there before, so we're not like image searching online. Oh, this texture is gigantic. This is perfect. All right. We can cut back now. There we go. I think I need a booster seat for the back. Yeah, I might. Little guy back here. It kind of looks like I'm in the booster seat with the back of the chair. All right. Let's figure this out. So now, normally, I would kind of like, I wonder if, let's see what filling it with content aware is going to do. Let's see what this looks like. Could be terrible, because I think I might try to spill this into the outer edges as well. In some capacity. We'll see. We'll see if Photoshop crashes too. Yeah, whatever. We probably should have saved before we started doing the heavy lifting. There we go. Alright, now we got a nice semi-randomized gold leaf texture. Now, what we want to do is add a screen. All right. Let's select all of the yellow. So we're masking it. So the white part is going to show through and the black part is not. Perfect. Now, I dig the gold leaf. Should we go full gold leaf? Like, should we do the gold leaf on the outside as well, and like maybe a different kind of like texture? We should save before we do anything. Maybe let's play around with it. I don't know what the plan is at this point. We don't know where we're going. We're off the rails. We're experimenting. Also, I may just kind of like put a shine through it. Whoa. There we go. we almost had a crash. All right. Are we... Is this happening? Okay. Thank you, Photoshop. Kind sir. Like, I wonder if... Maybe we, like, throw a grad through it? Oh, we're set to screen. So that it's, like, kind of faded. Is it doing the thing? Do the thing. Like, that's kind of neat with, like, the aqua tint to it. Because the aqua tint will pull up some shines if we put some shines in. Let's try to figure that out. So, Finder quit. We're gonna ignore Finder. Finder is a critical program to the Mac. Let's just do a quick save here. Make sure we're still on the rails. Oh. Obviously, gold leaf wasn't something you'd use all willy-nilly in classic religious imagery. Seeing if we could fit it in more detailed areas. Fuck detail. It's not about... Here's the thing. Yeah, they definitely gold leafed halos when they could. So here's the thing about like trying to stick to details and you know, trying to make it work, because we're not making religious imagery. Gold leaf those handcuffs. You're out of control, K-Dub. Maybe we should gold leaf those handcuffs. So we're gonna put a super black down. Ooh, maybe we should gold leaf the handcuffs. That might give it actually a little bit of balance. They gold leaf everything. Yeah. I don't like. So obviously, you know, we're pulling from religious imagery, but we don't want to be like tied to it. A lot of the mistakes that I made when I was starting, you know, starting to make art in any kind of professional capacity, was limiting myself by thinking, okay, well, this is like this, so I can't do it. So I can't do, you know, X is like X, so I can't make it Y. And that's just wrong. It's just wrong. Like, you can do whatever you want. As long as, like, because, like, here's the thing. You know, I know it's limited. I know it's religious imagery. You know it's religious imagery. But, you know, somebody might pick it up that doesn't necessarily know it's religious imagery. Like, I don't know. Like, everybody has different experiences and enjoys it for different reasons. And, like, I just want to make the best looking comic book we possibly can. Like, that's my job. Yeah, we're gonna try the gold leaf handcuffs. So, like, you don't want to, like I said before, no limits. Like, you don't want to limit yourself. That is like limiting yourself creatively, which I've since long ditched. Been like, you know, okay, we're gonna do whatever we're gonna do, whether it's right or not. And part of, I feel like, so I'm 36, and I feel like part of being in your 30s is unlearning the little things that got you through your 20s. As far as art goes, maybe as far as life goes. Guys, are we dishing out life lessons? Maybe. All right, let's deselect the black. That is the wrong thing. We want to fill here. Those are certainly some leafed handcuffs. I wonder if... No, the dulling it doesn't work. I'm thinking about like... Oh, yeah. I'm sure... Yeah, I mean, like, Hulk Hogan. The 90s happened. Like, they freaking... I mean, like, they weren't using, like, gold leaf, but they were definitely, like, gold foiling stuff. Please tell you how to survive your first year of college. Don't worry about anything. That's how you survive. But yeah, we're basically making our homemade foil cover right now. Yeah, don't worry about anything and you'll be good. Yeah, we're figuring it out, Robert. I'm thinking about maybe like we knock out the cuffs as well if we're gonna gold leaf them. Get flip-flops for the shower, also a critical element. I actually did not have to deal with that. So Savannah College of Art and Design, like their dorms were renovated hotel rooms. So I never shared a bath. Like I shared a bathroom with one person. So as long as like he was clean, then we were fine. Or as long as like one of us was doing the cleaning, then we were fine. It was very strange, the situation that I was in. Not only did we share bathrooms, but when I was there, I've heard that since then, you're really digging into this. You're into shiny things. So when I was, yeah, I'm digging into this too. I think the gold cuffs was a really good idea. Thank you for chiming in. I wonder if I would have gotten there on my own or not. At any rate, in addition to like the you think you're pretty good, to be honest. Just need to figure out where my classes next semester are because the building just got demolished. Yeah, that's a challenge. They would move our building for sequential art at SCAD all the time. We got I think in the entire program, like the 4 years that I was there, I was in 3 different buildings. I think we were also kind of an easy target because like out of all the quote unquote fine arts majors, like comics kind of got the shaft. We just like, you know, we're not the fine art painting department, you know? So, I don't know. Anyway, all that stuff aside, the rooms were very nice. Yeah, thank you, K-Dub. The rooms were very nice, and because I was there, hold on, I'm thinking. I'm deep in the tank. So because I was there, and they were renovated hotel rooms, not only did they like, we have a bathroom to ourselves, but we also had like a private pool per dorm, which is not what you should give college kids. That shouldn't be a thing. We're gonna put some bling on those cuffs because the texture took all the bling out. I think they have since learned their lesson and filled in the pools, by the way. They have decided that concrete is better than water for college kids who are unsupervised. Yeah, but, you know, I grew up in Connecticut where it's like winter for, you know, a stupid amount of time, and getting to be in a pool on a regular basis was a very nice treat. You know what? We did this wrong. Gradient, new layer. Did we do this wrong? Maybe. Hold on, I gotta think for a second. So I don't want to color the line art, so we're gonna back up, select inverse, and then do the new layer, so we don't actually deselect anything. It took 4 years for the band cult to realize you weren't a band major. You grew up in Connecticut too? I grew up in New London, Connecticut, with a very great comic store called Sarge's Comics. I actually didn't quite grow up in New London, but like for all intents and purposes, I was like one of the small towns around there. For anyone that like wants to know where I'm from, I say New London. Like, should we screen this down? Yeah. Now we're preserving some of the texture. Used to go to hardcore LNG Club, right? Yeah, man. I was doing the same thing. I was probably at those same hardcore shows. I was going to the LNG Club regularly between like 96 to 2002 maybe. Like I was coming home and going back to the shows. Yeah, the LNG Club isn't what it used to be, but they still put on shows there, I think. Yeah, I remember going to see like A Veil in the Movie Life and like Hatebreed and stuff like that. Boy Sets Fire and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you were in that same window. We were probably in the same club together at the same time. I was more, at the time, I was like more pop punky than like hardcore, but like my friends would drag me to a hardcore show every once in a while. So, and then like I kind of got into it later. Snapcase, yeah, I've been to Snapcase shows. Turmoil, yeah. We were probably at the same shows. There's not a lot to do in Connecticut, so like if your friends are doing something and you're like, oh, I don't really like hardcore shows, you're like, well, tough. You're going. But it was cool because it exposed me to a lot of music that I would not have normally been exposed to. Yeah. Yeah, man, I saw a lot of good shows there. A lot of stuff that I like took chances on. A lot of music I took chances on that I wouldn't have normally, just because it was like something to do. Pop punk scene isn't bad in Connecticut either. Yeah, the late 90s were kind of the heyday for that too. I feel like it got a little bit more mainstreamy, and it also like the pop punk scene successfully like segued me into actual punk, which is more my wheelhouse. Yeah, but I don't know, mostly now I just listen to stuff from my freaking childhood. From that era. Yeah, you're in New Jersey, so you're happy. Yeah, man, there's good shows around there. So why isn't this... Oh, because we still have the selection on. Let's figure out the bling. Yeah, I'm a... God, who else did I see there? Like Converge and like... God, I can't even remember. It's been too long. Man, the chat is getting together right now. Everybody's realizing they're all from the same place. And then one person from Portugal. No, I wasn't at a King Down show. If you're talking to me. Yeah, so... Alright, let's figure this out. So I don't normally like to do this a whole lot, but maybe it'll be fitting here. Part of the problem with the gold leaf... Okay, so that looks great. Part of the problem with the gold leaf texture is that it's like flattening out the cuffs. We're kind of in that oh man. You guys are talking about Jersey, and Fake McCoy is not here, and he's like the most New Jersey person I know. He has a lot of strong opinions. I've only really driven through it and gone to shows. Man, I just got a very vivid memory of I went to a show in, I think, like Haberfield. Yeah, I'm gonna paint over the texture. Haber, somewhere in Connecticut that was like Haber something, and it was a house show. This like tiny place, and the Gray AM was playing, and there was a bit where the guy would and you know, you could tell it was like this is what they did. They would like, the guy would drink some booze and blow fire. Except we were in like the basement of a home. Like it wasn't like a venue, you know what I mean? So the guy is blowing fire like crazy, and the ceiling catches fire, and no one panics. Like everyone is just there for the show, just like hanging out. And meanwhile, like the sound guy is frantic, like for every time the guy's blowing fire, the sound guy's right behind him with the fire extinguisher just blasting it, and like everybody else is just going crazy in this venue. I'm sure they did some real damage. It was a fun time. God, I haven't thought about that show in probably 15 years. I think McCoy's from North Jersey. By the way. Is this screen? This is screen. We gotta paint over the texture. We're getting deep in the layers. Just because I have no other option with these blinged out cuffs. So we kind of got to cover up some of the bling, so maybe we should put this above. Yeah, now we're talking. Who is from South Jersey? I don't know. There's people that live there. Wawa. Yeah, I mean, Wawa's some Philly shit. I lived in Philly for a long time too. Man, the chat is this is not what I expected from the chat, by the way, to be talking about old hardcore shows and venues in the area. All right, let's put some glows on her. But I like it. This is not what I expected, but I like it. My chat is the coolest chat. So I kind of want to make the foiling like glow a little bit. Like she's being, you know, wrapped up in the light of the halo. When are we going to get Wawa in Gainesville? Yeah, tell me about it. They have it in like Tampa. It's not like on every corner like it is in Philadelphia, but like it's around in Florida. It should be here though. I got to get down on some Hoagie Fest. This stream like weirdly became just like a plug for the Northeast. Just I've been paid by like the Northeastern Tourist Association. They have them in Orlando, yeah. We should not do that. What we should do is, so it's we got the thing glowing, but it's like kind of glowing too much. Let's fix that. But we want to keep some of it, just not all of it. I wonder if I can just... No, that did not work how I wanted it to. We're kind of on track. I'm an influencer now? Oh, God. By the way, speaking of influencer, I just was listening to a podcast about the... Not to change the subject from loving the Northeast, which I do love the Northeast, but man, I'm so glad to just give up winter. I am I'm happy where I'm at. Speaking of influencer, more Wawa. Yeah, that's what we need. It's just more Wawa. That's funny. Band Geek. Your band on a bus trip to Disney World fully stopped, turned around, and drove everyone to Wawa after we found out there was one there. The blizzard wasn't too bad. Dude, I'm just over it. I grew up in it, and I'm just like done with winter. Just emotionally done with winter. Not that the summers aren't like jacked up in Florida, but like, you know, it isn't perfect everywhere. The flip side is it's like 3 months of very hot summer in Florida versus like 6 months of being miserable in winter. So what can you do? Yeah. That it was 2 degrees out for like 3 days after. Yeah. Done with that. No one can live like that as far as I'm concerned. No way to live. We're gonna put a little glow on her cheeks a little bit, because a lot of the Virgin Mary stuff is very like faded. So this is gonna look really intense on your screen, but it's actually gonna print a little bit darker than normal. Maybe we'll put some on her chest as well. But now we're starting to mess with the line art underneath. We're getting there. We're doing like, it's just going to be a lot of special effects to get us there. But what I wanted to say about the influencer thing, real quick, is that I feel like... Oh, so I was listening to this podcast. I think it was for a store in Chicago, Challenge or something like that. They had a tweet that went viral that said they lost something like 20K in sales for the year, and it was like all Marvel product or something, like some kind of tweet like that went viral. And they made a podcast to like kind of just like explain what was going on. This is not where I want to be on the face. And they were talking about how they were like, you know, they were talking about Young Animal, which is like a line that I'm part of. You know, I want Young Animal to succeed. And they were saying that like, you know, the regular guys who come in every week to the, you know, weekly warriors that come in to pick up Batman are not thrilled about like Cave Carson and the Young Animal line, more specifically. And that like it's tough because like they know there's a market out there for Cave Carson, but it's tough to reach the new market for them. And that like they were saying something like DC's Comics answer was like Gerard Way has a nice Twitter, and like that's not what they wanted to hear, and like that's totally understandable. But like the thing is like I don't know what way we should be marketing comics, like, and they were talking about how like there is no influencer within the comics spectrum, and like I can't do that job because I'm doing this. But like I think there's a hole in the market. I think there's like a place for a comic book influencer. That is like a real thing where like, you know, they say, oh, we did this book and it's coming out, or they're like, hey, I just picked this book up and it's great, and it's like, oh, we should everybody else should pick it up, and you know, like a million Instagram people will like talk about it. And it's because I think it's because it's Bendis might be to a degree, I mean, I don't know, yeah, I've talked about this before on stream where like the how to get comics is like this fucking crazy rigmarole. How like, okay, what you want to do when, okay, so you want this $4 item. Now, we're not going to carry that $4 item. What we're going to do is we're going to give you a string of digits. Okay, now take this serial number and go down to the shop and pre-order a $4 item. And then when that $4 item comes in, you have the responsibility of coming back and picking up the $4 item. It's like total insane. Yeah, you have thoughts on this. I know, Robert. I want to talk to you about this stuff. That's why you're coming out on Friday. Like, yeah, I know that you, so I've been thinking about this for the past couple days, and I was actually trying to hold it in because I wanted to talk to you specifically about it because I know you have thoughts on this. We'll talk. You guys should tune in on Friday when Robert and I talk. I don't know what time we're doing it. I don't know what's convenient for him, but we are going to talk about this stuff. So I think we're done. Unexpectedly. Oh wait, there was one thing I wanted to do. There's some like small face stuff that I wanted to get done. Yeah, so I feel like if comics had an influencer, we'd all benefit. Like, you know, everyone would get to like try new books and that kind of thing. I think that the thing that keeps comics from not having an influencer is that I don't know if I usually love the year-end lists as well, but the problem with year-end lists and comics is like it's good for you to get into stuff, but like a lot of Marvel and DC stuff, especially, less so with independent stuff that's like, you know, it's like a passion project and people are going to do it with or without your support. But like a lot of Marvel DC stuff, okay, for an example, when I was working on, God, what was that book? The book with Brent Schoonover, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., with all the monsters that were like S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. I loved it. I think Brent and I gave them a better book than they were expecting, to be completely honest. And they didn't know, like, we were slated for 6, And we, right up until the very end, like, it was like Brent penciled cover number 7 for solicits, and then they were like, oh, we're canceled. You know, like, it was a conversation where it was like, well, are we canceled or should I pencil this cover? And they were like, you should pencil that cover, because I don't know, no one's made a decision yet, kind of thing. And the disadvantage that you're having with year-end lists is like, okay, like, I don't know if that comic ever made it onto year-end lists or not or whatever, but I did see some articles that were like, these books need saving. But by the time those articles came out, the book was already canceled. Like, because comics works so far in advance. For it to come out monthly, we have to work in advance. And then beyond that, we have to solicit further out from that. So if the solicit for 7 doesn't come out, you know, like, the solicit for 7 is coming out when, like, issue 2 or issue 3. So you got to make a decision very, very quickly. This is your favorite colors I've done on a Heartthrob cover. Oh, that's very nice of you to say, Robert. I'm trying to step up the game, man. So, yeah. So because we work in advance, and because we work, like, trying to understand what, you know, what the market looks like and if a book should be sustainable or not, you know, we run the risk of, like, early canceling. And, like, a year-end list, you might find something really great on a year-end list that just gets, like, straight up canned because, you know, when the issues were coming out, when the decision was being made, like, you know, nobody was on board. So it's like a weird, I don't know. There's no huge monthly popular comic loot box. Yeah. Why isn't that a thing? I don't know. This is insane to me. There should be, like, if there was a loot box where they were like, hey, we're just going to send you number 1s of, like, cool stuff that we like, I would subscribe to that loot box in a second, you know? Even if it was, like, Marvel theme, like, Marvel, DC, Oni, whatever, like, right. Well, now you're talking about, like, hey, I want these specific comics. You're talking about, like, you know, just comic shops shipping stuff out. Like, some shops, some bigger shops in New York and stuff will ship anywhere you want. You just end up, like, paying, like, $6 a comic because it costs to ship, you know? Humble Bundle does that. Yeah, so, like, there's all these different, like, avenues for selling comics that, like Humble Bundle and just, like, digital sales in general, that, like, lean into stuff like this. And, you know, digital is becoming bigger and bigger. But, like, as far as, like, the traditional market and how to get people into comic shops and that kind of thing, like, I feel like there's a lot of room. There's a lot of open space for, like, people to just, like, show up, you know? Like, the industry's waiting for people to show up, and it just hasn't happened yet. This, by the way, we're calling it. This is Dunsky. Let's save it. Yeah, I feel like the reason that we don't really have a tastemaker is because, like, our celebrities are kind of not great. Like, who's the comic celebrity? It's all, like, straight white men, and I say that as a straight white man. That cover pops. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I just want to finish this thought. So, like, you know, like, who are our celebrities? Will Wheaton, Chris, what's his face? the dude who was on that dating show on MTV with Jenny McCarthy. He recently put together a convention. Shit, I forgot his name. Anyway, him, like, Kevin Smith, I guess. But, like, these are also people who are not necessarily talking about, like, Hardwick. Thank you. They're like talking about the culture, but they're not necessarily tastemakers for comics. And Gerard Way is a little bit of a comic celeb. Yes, I will agree with that. They're not necessarily like, but like Gerard Way also has skin in the game. So it doesn't really work because it's like, he's going to push his own comics, you know? I don't know if you can trust that necessarily, that comic celebrity. So it's like, I don't know, like we need somebody who's like likable, has a good Instagram, is attractive to look at. And this is part of the thing is like, no fashion blog is going to cover Kevin Smith's Instagram, you know, like that's just not a thing. Rob Liefeld and Gene commercials. There you go. Like we're talking to ourselves too much, and we're not talking to, we need a tastemaker that transcends that. Like Kevin Smith can recommend comics all day long, but he's talking to an echo chamber. Everybody who's into Kevin Smith is into comics. What we need is like Kim Kardashian to be like, I really enjoyed HEARTTHROB. You know, like that kind of shift needs to happen. Maybe not Kim, because that comes with a whole extra set of baggage. But you know what I mean? Like you get those Stranger Things kids to talk about comics regularly. They become tastemakers. You know, like stuff like that. It doesn't even need to be it doesn't even need to be like established celebrities. It can just be, because they're like Instagram models and stuff like that. Like I say that with quotes just because I'm belittling it because I don't understand it. Not because it's not legitimate. Because I'm an old man. Like there are people out there that I feel like could capitalize on this opportunity, and there's a market for it, but like, you know, it can't be me because I have skin in the game, and I want this to evolve into something that's great for comics. So if you're out there, try to be a tastemaker for comics, and that's going to involve work. That's going to involve, you know, having a glamorous Instagram, but like, maybe it's just something that needs to get done. I don't know, man. Gotta get those tastemakers. I don't know. There's a solution out there. I think comics will find it eventually. It's adapting to new things, basically. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for the stream. I might see you tomorrow for some Robert Kirkman and AMC could help. Yes. If you're out there and you're sexy, just make it risque Instagram and on top of comics. Yes, that's what we need, Daxter. I'm looking at you, buddy. You can make an Instagram. I'm just saying. All right. So tomorrow we may tackle a Realm cover. I don't know if I'm able to do that one on stream. I got to check with the guys. But we may be back tomorrow. If we're not back tomorrow, we will be back on Friday with Robert. We may be back with some Schoonover stuff. I don't know. Maybe. I'm like trying to squeeze everything in. My schedule is a little crazy. I'm going to try to set up for Drop Mix soon. So we might do that over the weekend if it comes in the mail and I get everything, all the technical stuff sorted out. So look for that. It's like a card game, rhythm game. I'm very excited about it. So look for that. But until then, be a tastemaker. Make some comics succeed that wouldn't necessarily do that before. I don't know. Help me is what I'm saying. Thanks for hanging out, guys.